Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pam. Today I'm going to go over identifying the Antichrist. And I think most of us have a pretty good idea of who the man of perdition is. And of course, most of us believe that he is our very own president. So I don't want to beat around the bush anymore on that. But first I'm going to start out by going over this whole idea that the Antichrist is going to be loved or charismatic. And, you know, I've heard this argument so many times, and it is the greatest defense for this man that he cannot be the Antichrist because the Antichrist is going to be loved and charismatic, and that is just not true. There's not one Bible verse that indicates that this man will be a charismatic man, that he will be loved. As a matter of fact, the Bible says he will be vile. He will be a vile man. So when you look at the biblical description of the Antichrist and his personality, you're looking at something that is completely opposite of charismatic and, you know, somebody that will be loved. These types of people may be initially loved, but when people learn who they are and how they really are, they're not loved at all. Because usually, and I'm speaking about the personality type of a malignant narcissist, this is what this man is. And this is why this president of ours is the leading candidate for being the Antichrist, because of his personality type. And most of us don't really recognize it that way. But for me, I'm all about personalities. You know, I found one example of worship that was directed at the Antichrist, and that's in Revelation 13, verses 3 through 4. And this is the only thing I could find that may allude to worship, and it doesn't actually. So it says, one of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed. And the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. And they worshiped the dragon, for he had given authority to the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, and who can fight against it? So the word here, marveled, means amazed or wondered. So this particular verb is used 44 times in the New Testament, and it is consistently used to mark extraordinary events or moments or circumstances and express shock. So this is kind of a shock and awe thing. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who can fight against it? So this original Greek word here for worship means to fawn or crouch. It is a fear response. It is people-pleasing. It's an act of lowering oneself in submission. So these people are actually in submission to him out of fear. This is not, you know, a worship kind of thing. So, you know, now I want to take a look at the things the Antichrist will actually do. For so many, you know, that believe that this man is going to be charismatic, that he's going to be loved, let's actually look at what he does. And this tells you all about his personality. So, and how likable he will really be. And there are several verses in the Bible that describe him as being full of himself, that he's going to believe he is great, and he will be boastful and arrogant, so much so that he will demand to be worshiped, and he will do as he pleases. So he will elevate himself above God, and he will speak boastful words and blasphemies against God. He is so proud, and he lies so fluently, as though it's another language actually, that he misleads the world into believing that he can and he will solve the problems in the Middle East. His pride is so bad and so strong that he even exudes the look of pride with a fierce countenance. So in his pride and in his power, he will seek to change the times, the seasons, and the laws, and even end sacrifice and offerings at the temple. Like he has the right to do that. And he will seat himself in the temple as though he's God. He has no regard for customs or laws. He will decide what is best. And his fragile ego and need for admiration will cause him to promote all who will acknowledge and honor him. And he will demand worship, and that everyone will receive a mark, which is actually the number of his name. That's how prideful he is. His pride, his hate, his envy, his greed will all lead him to fearfully destroy many in their prosperity, and even take the riches of Egypt. And so does this sound like someone that's charismatic and loved? I would think not. I would think not. This man is vile. This man is evil. He will have the fruits of his father, the devil. That's who he has the fruits of. And what does Satan do? Satan lies, he kills, he slanders. He does all of these things. And where do you hear that kind of stuff coming from? Right? And who is it that thinks that they can walk into Israel and they can tell everybody over there what they're going to do and how he's going to fix it all? Just like the rest of the world, how he's going to fix it all. And so, you know, this man is a ruler with great power. The Bible clearly says that he has great power. You would have to have a great military, great economic power, so much so that no one can fight against you. No one. Is there anyone else in this world? No. No, there's no one else that can fight against us. So he is a conqueror. The Bible describes him as a conqueror who will have the strength and ability. He will have the economic might, the military might. He will have it all so that he can accomplish these things. And he will even create the beast empire in Revelation 13, halfway through the tribulation. That is when this comes to life, this beast that he creates. And he will be the head of it. And that's how it will go. And that's how it is going. What is he creating over there? A beast empire. And these things can only be done by one powerful country, militarily and economically. And that is that one country that Christians don't believe is in the Bible and prophecy. So I don't know of any other country that could stand against the United States. I don't. They don't have the ability. And even if they did, they would be crushed. Their economy, everything would be crushed. The U.S. holds the cards, period, and everything. So, you know, the Antichrist, though, he comes onto the scene at some point when he does in the Bible. It talks about him confirming a covenant with many. And you can clearly see how he manages to confirm a covenant with many. And how would that be? He's put so much pressure on the people in the region. And they all trust and believe he has this ability to do it. And why? Why do they believe this? I really don't know. But there are many in Israel that are trusting him and believe that he can finally be the answer. They have placed their trust in this man instead of God. And you see in the second seal when peace is taken from the earth, because they chose the wrong Prince of Peace. They chose the wrong one. And so God removes peace from the earth to show them that they cannot have peace through anyone else but him. And here we have, in this country, we have a situation where he's right in front of us. And we are called the most Christian nation in the world. But yet we're not able to even spot the one that we're looking for that will destroy the world, the one that the Bible warned us about. He warned us about this man. And though we can't clearly identify him for sure until the abomination of desolation, I don't believe, we can still suspect and have some idea that this man is likely the one. And it's true, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck probably, right? So, you know, as far as the U.S. and Bible prophecy, because we're the only world empire that can do all of these things, we're the only world empire that can fulfill biblical prophecy in every way, okay? And no other nation could actually do all of these things that the Antichrist will need to do and will do according to prophecy. Okay, so it's very likely that he is the Antichrist, and that this is the time that the Bible warned us of. And so, you know, I'm not a pre-tribber. So yes, I do believe that we need to know who it is. And I do believe it's important that we be prepared for what's coming. And that is why I decided to warn people about this. Be prepared for what's coming. You know, stock up, do what you need to do, because we're at that time now, and we need to make a decision. Decide, you know, this day whom you will serve. Thank you.